Alright, so now we're going to jump in and start to write a little bit of code. Okay, so the first thing we're going to take a look at in PHP 7 is the Spaceship Operator. Alright, it's brand new to PHP 7. It hasn't been in any previous versions. So what this does is it gives us a way to combine comparisons. So basically we want to plug in two numbers on each side of the operator, and it's going to return certain values depending on if those match up or not, or which is greater. So let me just put in a comment block here. So like I said, there's three different things it can return. The first is going to be a 0. So it returns a zero if values are equal. Okay. It can also return a 1, and it returns 1 if the value on the left is greater. Okay, and then it can also return a -1, and that's if value on right is greater. Okay, so these are the three things it can return. What's really nice about the Spaceship Operator is we're not restricted to a certain data type. Okay, we can do strings, we can do numbers, we can even do arrays and objects. Alright, so in the past we would have to use functions like string compare, which we can only use on strings, and we can't put arrays in there, so it's just very restrictive. Alright, so let me give you a quick example. So let's say echo, and we're going to actually first let's just create a couple variables. Create one called A, and we'll set that to 20, and let's say B, and for now we'll set that to 20. And then down here we're going to echo A, and then we're going to use the Spaceship Operator, which is less than, equals, greater than. Alright, and then on this side we'll say B, and save, and we reload, and you can see we get 0. Okay, it's 0 because A and B are the same. Now let's change B to 25 and reload, and now we get -1 because the one on the right is greater than the one on the left. If I change this back to 20 and then change this one to 5, now we get 1, okay, because the one on the left is greater. Alright, so another data type we can use is a decimal or a float. Okay, so we can say, for instance, 1.5, and we'll say 2. Okay, that's going to give us -1 because the value on the right is greater. And I actually want to keep these so you guys can have it as a reference. So let me just... Okay, so these are numbers, floats, and let's do strings. Okay, I'm just gonna bring that comment down. Okay, so strings, let's go ahead and put in an A. Here we'll put in a B, and let's see what that gives us. Okay, so that gives us -1 as well. Alright, and that's because the one on the right is greater. It's further down in the alphabet. If for A I say C and we reload, we get 1. Okay, because the one on the left is now greater. We could also do something like this. We'll do CC and then C, and you can see we're getting a 1. If we put this one, 3 C's, reload, and then we get -1. Okay, so not only will it go by the value of one letter, it'll also take into account multiple characters. Alright, so that's strings. Now what I want to do is arrays. Okay, so let's start off with just putting in an empty array, another empty array, and that should give us 0. Okay, Now what we'll do is in one of these we'll just put 1, 2, 3. Okay, that gives us 1. If in here we put 1, 2, 3, 4, we should get -1. Alright, so it's matching these up, and this one is greater than this one. We could also do objects, so let's grab that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is for A, we're going to say object, and here let's do A, B, and then for this one let's do the same thing, make sure that we get 0. Okay, that gives us 0. If I go and change this B to C, that gives us -1. If I change this one to D, that gives us 1. Alright, so that shows you the different data types that we can work with the Spaceship Operator. So let me show you something that is actually useful, because obviously this is just to give you an idea how it works. But what I'm going to do is I have a CSV file, which is a comma separated values file. And I'm going to go to my folder here, my dev folder, and I'm going to paste this file in. You guys should have this in your project files. But if we take a look at this, let's we'll open it with Atom. And you can see it's just a comma separated value file where we have users or people. We have an ID, then we have the name, first, last name, email address, and so on. And what I want to do is I want to use the Spaceship Operator in conjunction with a function called uSort, so that we can sort these. We can fetch and then sort these people by last name. Alright, so close that up. We're not going to actually edit the CSV file. And then we're going to go back into our index.php. And we're going to use the fopen function to actually grab the file and store it in a handle. So let's do if, and this should be like that. Alright, so in here, let's open another set of parentheses, and we're going to create a handle and set that to fopen. Okay, the file is going to be people.csv, and then we're going to throw in the second parameter of r, and then we're going to set that not equal to false. Alright, and then in here we're going to create a while loop, and we want to open up another set of parentheses and say row equals fget. I'm going to make this a little bigger. This looks, make sure you guys can see it. Alright, so row equals fget CSV, pass in the handle, and let's say 1000, and the separating character is a comma, so we're going to put a comma, and right here we're going to do the same thing, not equal to false. Alright, and then in here we can get our data, and we're going to put that into an array. We're going to set that equal to row. Alright, and then right under the loop we're going to close it up, fclose, pass in the handle. Okay, so this is how we can grab a file, get the data from the CSV file. Alright, and then what we'll do is down here we'll use a for each loop to loop through the people in the CSV file. Alright, so let's say for each, and we're going to use this data variable right here. I'm going to say for each data as person, and we're going to echo person 1. All right, now let's take a look at that CSV file. So the array includes all the fields here. 0 would be this, which is the ID. 1 would be the name, which is what we want. 4 would be the email, and so on. All right, so person 1, and so that's the name, and then we'll get the email next to it. So let's concatenate here. We're going to say dot, and then person 5, I think, is the email, and we'll put a little dash in between. Okay, and then at the end we're going to just concatenate a line break. Alright, so let's save that and reload our page, and now you can see we have all of the names and then the email addresses. Now this is where the Spaceship Operator can come in. What I want to do is sort these by last name. Alright, so let's go right in the middle here, and we're going to call uSort, and we're going to pass in the data. Alright, and then the next one is going to be a callback function, and that's going to take in, we'll say left and right. And then what we'll do is return left 1, and then we can use our Spaceship Operator, and we're going to say right 1. Okay, so we put left 1 on the left and right 1 on the right. Let's reload, and now you can see that all of the names are in alphabetical order by the last name. Alright, so this is a situation that the Spaceship Operator is actually really useful. In the next video, we're going to take a look at the null coalesce operator. So I will see you then.